I'm Stephen Hardy, Editorial Director of Broadband Technology Report. As cable MSO and independent operators consider how to upgrade their networks to support 10G capabilities, they're taking a closer look at PON-based fiber to the home, not just for greenfield applications, but for brownfield as well. To discuss this growing interest in fiber to the home, I'm here with Stefaan Vanhastel, CTO Fixed Networks at Nokia. Stefan, as I mentioned, we're seeing a trend towards greater use of FTTH and PON by cable MSOs and others. That includes, in some cases, a full commitment to all fiber networks. Why do you think this is?
We absolutely see a tremendous interest in fiber to the home. There's two main drivers for this. One is, of course, that consumers are asking for higher speeds. No surprise, this is driven partly by the experience during the pandemic, where we all learned that what got us through the lockdown is broadband. So consumers are asking for more connectivity, and they are going for the higher speed packages. And then second, it's simply the fact that fiber to the home is really a fantastic technology if you want to deliver massive speeds to massive numbers of subscribers. While it takes significant investment and time to deploy, once it's there, it's going to last forever. It's a passive infrastructure in the case of passive optical networks, as the name implies. The outside plant is just glass. There's no active equipment. So once it's there, you don't have to touch it, and it's going to last for generations. Second, it's also future-proof. For all practical intents and purposes, you can keep increasing the speed. You can increase the speed per wavelength. You can go from 2.5 gigabits per second to 10 gigabits per second and beyond. But you can also keep adding wavelengths. And third, it's also a very energy efficient way. Fiber, transmitting light down an optical fiber the size of a human hair is actually an incredibly efficient way to deliver, megabits and gigabits per second to subscribers. The combination of that three really makes fiber to the home a really attractive technology. Of course, it's going to take time to deploy, as I already discussed, which means that, yes, in greenfield, it's a no-brainer. In brownfield, we're going to see a gradual transition from upgrading existing DOCSIS networks to deploying fiber to the home networks. But that transition is now happening.
Now, you talked about the ability of fiber to the home to support both today's and future requirements. How do you see PON technologies evolving to enable such future-proofing?
So the first massively adopted fiber to the home technology was really GPON, 2.5 gigabits per second. We're now in the middle of the transition to 10 gigabits per second. It's driven by, on one hand, by the need to offer higher residential services. Consumers are taking gigabit and multi-gigabit offers, and once they get used to not having to wait, they don't go back. It's also driven by new use cases and new applications. Today, we really see XGS-PON or 10 gig symmetrical PON taking over. Nokia is now shipping more XGS-PON ports, more 10 gig symmetrical ports than regular GPON ports in North America. We expect the same thing to happen across the globe during the course of 2022. So 10 gig technology is really taking over. In parallel, we're already working on the next steps. So 25 gig is already available. In fact, we already have more than 500,000 25 gig ready ports in the field. 50 gig is also in the works. So the standard was finalized last year. And we've already shown that you can do 100 gigabit per second on a GPON network. So that speed can continue to increase to meet customer demands, but also to enable new use cases and new applications.
And finally, in addition to the benefits you've cited, how might cable operators see the business case for fiber become even stronger?
One of the interesting things we've seen over the past 2 years is a shift in thinking. So operators no longer see a fiber to the home network as a fiber to the home network, but rather as a fiber infrastructure. So yes, obviously you're going to use it to deliver residential services, but in fact, it's a fiber infrastructure. It's a fiber network that passes every street, that passes every home and every building. So you can use that for much more than just residential. Adding business services is an obvious example, But those increases in speeds that I was talking about earlier, the fact that you can go from GPON to 10 gig to 25 gig and beyond, means that you can support other use cases as well. We're talking about business, we're talking about business services, whether it's gigabit symmetrical or even 10 gig symmetrical services. But it can also be smart cities using that fiber network to monitor traffic and optimize traffic. It can be utility companies who use that fiber infrastructure for smart metering and reduce the peak load on the power plants. But you can also use this fiber network, for example, to do mobile transport in a dense 5G small cell deployment. Or you basically have enough capacity to even wholesale some of that capacity to other service providers. All of these things mean that you get more traffic on your network, which means you're getting more revenue streams on your network, which means that you improve the business case for a fiber to the home rollout.
Thank you, Stefan. So as we've just heard, there are multiple reasons why fiber to the home is becoming the preferred strategy for a growing number of cable operators as they upgrade their networks. And it seems likely this trend towards fiber will continue for some years to come. For Broadband Technology Report, I'm Stephen Harding.